Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. This is Joe Hentges with Beyond the Chart, and in this technical analysis of the stock market video, I'm going to take a look at Friday's market action and the action for the week. A week which saw the market get off to its worst start of any year ever. So stay tuned. All right, so let's take a look here at the New York Composite. We're going to look at the New York Composite and the Russell 2000. You can see after it broke down here this last week, pretty dramatic sell-off occurred. This is actually the Thursday before, last trading day of 2015, the New Year's Eve day right here. And of course, we're closed on Friday, and then here's Monday, Tuesday, and as we sell off. And we are now down below the close today is down below the close at the end of September or the August sell-off. So pretty severe sell-off here. And the New York Composite has been kind of leading us down all the way. It's leading all the other indices. And by the way, if you want to have a snapshot or look at and stay in tune with the Dow, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and all of the other indicators and everything that I track, go on over the website, check on the membership and become a member. Let's take a look at the Russell 2000. This is even more severe. You can see the break. It's now dramatically below the September and August lows. Now, it's not nearly as low as back, well, maybe it did. I'll look at that on a weekly, about the October 2014. I want to take a look at that in a second here. Let's look at the New York Composite on a weekly basis, and you can see this picture even more clear in terms of where it's closing, and that it's the lowest close in almost 2.5 years back. You got to go all the way back into 2013, and it almost took out the low, intra-week low of all the week ending August 28th. So the sell-off continues, pretty dramatic for the week, down 614 points on the New York Composite. And let's take a look at the Russell weekly. And here's where it had been holding up for a while is what I was trying to say. And actually it did close below the low close of October 2014, but it did not take out that low, but that's only a couple of points away. So I don't think that's gonna, I don't think it's gonna hold very long. I mean, this is really coming down pretty strong. Now, we are getting outside the Keltner channels even on a weekly basis, and that's a point to consider. As we look at here on a daily basis on the New York Composite, we're outside the Keltner channels. We're at an extreme. Now, we did that back here in August, and we continued pushing down. But once you start to get outside, you got to be kind of careful in here. Because you're at an extreme reading. You're definitely in that territory that you don't get into very, very often. All right, let's take a look at the VIX and see what the VIX is showing. This picture is really interesting to me. We had this little head and shoulders pattern in here back in July, late June into August, and then pretty flat horizontal neckline, and we got this huge explosion out of it. Well, we got a very similar picture going on right now that's been building since, that sell-off, and now we've gotten a close above it. So I think we're at a really interesting juncture in here. Now, I need to go back to my mouse, so I've got to get rid of this. It's a funky interplay between the two software. So if we look at the RSI here with the close, we are above 70, which is exactly where we kind of stopped back here on December 11th. So that is one scenario that's kind of playing contrary to a big move, big explosion. But that doesn't mean that you can't get even more overbought like you did back here in August. That's always possible. This picture looks pretty interesting to me. It just looks like a huge version of this version back here. All right, let's take a look at oil and gold for the week. Oil continued to get smashed, took out the low of this week, which looked like a potential reversal bar week, and just continued to smash down. It closed at $32.88 on West Texas Intermediate. Gold putting in a nice move. This is a daily chart, putting in a nice move up. You can see on a weekly chart, this is the biggest up move since the week ending December 4th. So finally getting a little momentum on gold. I do think this may have ended right here in terms of the whole downswing since Since when? Back here, September 2011. So we're talking a little over 4 years of corrective type move in action. We may have seen the bottom. We will see whether we continue. We need to break out above this trend line on a weekly basis. But right now it's starting to act, finally starting to act well. Let's take a look at some of the 3 indicators, 3 ETFs that are like economic indicator type ETFs, Homebuilders, because they're so economically sensitive. Homebuilders have been holding up. Look how they just pushed sideways. Well, they're now breaking down. They've now broken this last year and a half trend line. Pretty dramatic breakdown this week in the Homebuilders. Lowest close since all the way back over here into 2014. And then the next one is the semiconductors, and it has also been, got a good bounce back, had a lot of damage done here, went to a lower low than the October low. Now we rallied back, we've broken this trend line, and we're coming down pretty hard here. To kind of confirm that we're in this downtrend, I want to see this low taken out. Yeah, that will kind of confirm that, okay, lower highs and lower lows. And then the last one, where is it? The materials sector, XLB. This has been pretty weak, and this was the 3rd biggest drop of the week in terms of the ETFs. It was like 7%, 7+%, something like that. The Homebuilders dropped over 9%. And so this was also a big drop, and this is a lower close. I believe it closed below. There we go. Yeah, it did. So this is the lowest weekly close, lower than the week ending September 25th. So that would put it as the lowest weekly close since, probably over here in mid-2013. So pretty tough week. We'll see whether or not we get follow through, whether or not we're at an extreme and we're going to get a bounce. Honestly, this thing could either crack wide open or bounce. It's at that extreme. We'll see what happens Sunday night in terms of some kind of indication out of China, and Monday morning. All right, everyone, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.